Assalamualaikum and good evening to Dr. Nadia. I'm going to start the presentation with the introduction. Japan is a developed country that has always been an example for a developing country. Malaysia itself has created a policy called the Dasar Pandang ke Timur, which refer to making Japan an example to Malaysia, especially in terms of economic factor. Yet the COVID-19 pandemic has had many effects on countries around the world. Regardless of how great the country's economy is, this pandemic has also had an impact on the Japanese economy. Change in the external world affecting the retail sector have drastically changed conventional wisdom and could even result in the creation of a new system and circumstance which will have a wide range of implications for policy, the economy, and our lifestyle, as well as the emerging technology that help them. Important retail business that manage food and everyday needs receive a business continually request from the government after the Japanese government declared a state of emergency. COVID-19 dramatic shift in the external world have had a variety of effect on the retail industry market. The crisis has exposed stark difference in business performance among different types of operation. Fortunately, a more severe public health crisis with immediate economic consequence as seen in other nations. According to a survey conducted in Japan, about 82.8% of retail business have already felt the effect on the coronavirus pandemic on their operation. When the percentage of business that foresaw a potential effect on their industry in the near future is added together, almost 96% of companies believe that have been impacted in some way by the coronavirus outbreak. Next, I'm going to pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Today I want to present my part. Before that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Ali bin Zaridun. My matrix number is A19A0327. The title is Effect of Pandemic COVID-19 on Economy in Japan. COVID-19 has led to several adverse effects in economies around the world, and Japan isn't any exception. Folks have suspended social interaction at faculties, workplaces, and restaurants and outlets. Associated, this has caused an example level of decline in sales among corporations. The government and also the Bank of Japan have enforced various measures. The dimension of that, in addition, an example to counter the adverse effect of the pandemic by providing banking for economic activities. In our latest National Economy Report, Bank of Japan 2020. Next, I want to list effect of pandemic COVID-19 at Japan. Okay, first, Japan's unemployment rate is rising. Tokyo, Japan unemployment rate last August rose to its highest level in more than 3 years due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, total job availability also plummeted to its lowest level in more than 6 years. The figure comes after Japan's new Prime Minister Yoshida Suga vowed to continue creating jobs, keep business operating, and help the economy recover from the effect of measures taken to curb the spread of COVID-19. Recent data such as manufacturing output and business sentiment also indicate a slow economic recovery. The Japanese economy contracted to its worst since the second quarter of this year, driven by plummeting in external and domestic demand as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. Secondly, the sport industry sector had to be cancelled due to the COVID-19. The natural event of COVID-19 was therefore explosive and quick. Incredible events. Games were off because of COVID-19. The COVID-19 was oversaid to be worst crisis on suatu di the 2020 with several deaths, including individuals losing their job, business going bankrupt, and loss of alternative negative impact. Japan is the world's third largest travel and commercial enterprise economy, BBC News 2011, and because the hosting country of the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympic, the impact of COVID-19 on the Japanese commercial enterprise trade is immeasurable. Thank you.
Next, I will present about the Nikkei sinks below. Nikkei 225 index break through the 29,000 level for the first time in over 4 weeks. The Nikkei average fell 591.83 points or 20.03% to close at 28,508.55. The main index fell 584.99 points on Tuesday. The topic index of all first section issues fell 38.07 points to 1,888.18 after sliding 30.31 points the day before. The market exhibited some resistance and eventually moved sideways due to the lack of new trade incentive. The Japanese government prepared to declare a new coronavirus state of emergency in many regions. The last point is low oil prices. Cheaper oil is beneficial for Japan, the world's largest economy. Lower oil prices are good for the economy and promote economic activity in Japan, which imports almost all of its oil. Experts argue that with industry continuing to reduce output and the government still urging workers to telework, the advantages of reduced oil prices have been negligible. The drop in oil prices and other commodities has prompted big trading firms to write down more than 600 billion in assets in the energy, grains, and metals in the first quarter. Japan entered a recession in the January-March quarter, with GDP falling by an annualized 3.4% and forecasters predict a decline of more than 20% in the current quarter.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aidin Azhar bin Muhammad Zilani. My metric number is A19A0323. Okay, my part is just about economic policy implementation such as fiscal policy. What is fiscal policy? Fiscal policy is change in government spending and debt. They are intended to achieve macroeconomic objectives such as high employment, price stability, and high rate of economic growth. There are two types of fiscal policy. First is expansionary fiscal policy and second is contractionary fiscal policy. According to a survey conducted in Japan, approximately 82.8% of business enterprise in the retail industry states that are already experiencing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on their productivities. Close to 96% of the companies considered that they were somewhat affected by the breakdown of coronavirus. The impact on the economy have been hard enough that some say it will take about 2 years to recover. Okay, about the graph. Government using an expansionary policy and shift a AD curve to the right. If the AD curve shift rightward from AD0 to AD1, when the economy is on a nearly flat portion of SRAS0 curve, the result will be increase in equilibrium Y from Y0 to Y1, which later increase in the price level from P0 to P1. The increase in equilibrium Y is much gentler than the increase in equilibrium P. Therefore, existent new equilibrium E1 at the potential real GDP level of output with a relatively small risk in the price level. In addition, the increase in money supply would lead to movement up along the aggregate supply curve. This would lead to a higher price and more potential real GDP. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
In conclusion, the retail industry has been hit particularly hard after the government ordered citizens to quarantine themselves, dramatically limiting face-to-face service in shops. Moreover, imported retail business that manage food and everyday needs received a business continuity request from the government after the government declared a state of emergency, but several other types of retail business were forced to close. According to a survey, about 82.8% of business enterprise in retail industry state that they already experience an impact of the coronavirus. Even in future, about 96% of the companies considered that they were somewhat affected by the outbreak of coronavirus.